You know that moment. You're right there with her. Same room, maybe the same couch you've shared 100 times, and something feels off. Not wrong exactly, just distant. Like there's a version of her that used to lean toward you, and now she's just present. Physically there, but somewhere else entirely. And your brain starts doing that thing. Did I say something? Did I stop being enough? Is she just tired, or is she tired of me? You replay the last few weeks, trying to find the moment it shifted. You can't. You just know something has changed, and the harder you try to reach her, the more she seems to drift. Here's the thing most men are never told. She didn't lose interest in you. She lost the feeling of being pulled toward you. And those are two completely different problems with two completely different solutions. You're not failing. You're not unlovable. You just haven't been shown how desire actually works in a woman's emotional world. And that's not your fault. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what creates that magnetic pull, why your current approach might be working against you, and what shifts make a woman start moving toward you again, even if right now she seems completely checked out. Let's get into it. Most men believe desire is about attraction, about looks, status, confidence, how well you dress, or how much you earn. And sure, those things open doors. But here's what nobody explains. A woman's desire doesn't live in her eyes. It lives in her nervous system. It lives in how safe, how seen, and how electrically alive she feels when she's around you. When that feeling fades, and it fades for reasons most men never identify, she doesn't always know how to name it. She just knows something is missing. And you feel it as coldness, disinterest, distance. But what's actually happening beneath the surface is that her emotional world stopped feeling like a place she wants to bring you into. The real truth is this: attraction is the spark, but desire is the flame you have to keep feeding. And the fuel isn't grand gestures or perfectly timed compliments. It's presence. It's the kind of energy that makes her feel like being around you is where something real happens. 1. The man she desires is a mystery she hasn't fully solved yet. Most men, once they feel a woman pulling away, do the same thing. They become more available. They check in more. They try harder, show up more, ask more questions about what she's thinking. And it feels like the right thing to do. But what it actually does is remove every ounce of tension that makes desire possible. Here's the deeper truth. Desire requires distance. Not emotional withdrawal, not coldness, but the particular kind of psychological space that makes a woman ask, what is he thinking? When she can predict your every move, when she always knows exactly where you stand and what you'll do next, something in her nervous system relaxes in a way that feels comfortable but not exciting. And bro, comfort without mystery is friendship. Picture two versions of the same guy. She texts him, and the first version replies within seconds, every time, always eager, always available. The second version replies warmly, but sometimes takes a few hours, not because he's playing games, but because he genuinely has a life he's invested in. She finds herself thinking about the second guy more. She wonders what he's doing. That wondering, that's desire beginning. When you stop being completely readable, when you have a world she wants to be invited into, rather than a life that orbits hers, something in her starts leaning forward again. 2. She desires the man who doesn't need her to desire him. Most people in relationships confuse neediness with love. They're not the same thing. Neediness says, I need you to want me in order to feel okay. Love says, I want you, and I'm also whole without you. And a woman's nervous system can feel the difference in your energy before you've opened your mouth. When your sense of worth is riding on whether she's warm toward you on a given day, she feels that weight, and it's heavy. It turns her into the person responsible for your emotional state, which is the fastest way to make intimacy feel like a job. The deeper truth is that high desire comes from perceived value, and the man a woman most desires is the one who has such a full, grounded, purposeful sense of himself that her approval is something he enjoys but doesn't require. Her brain is quietly registering, he's not chasing me, he knows who he is. Here's the contrast. One version of you changes his plans when she's in a bad mood, gets quieter when she seems distant, constantly monitors her energy to calibrate his own. Another version of you is warm, attentive, loving, and also completely unmoved by her moods, because you're rooted in something internal that her behavior can't shake. One of those men feels safe to a woman. The other feels like a project. When she senses that your world doesn't collapse when she's not fully available, something in her actually wants to be more available to you. 3. Tension is the language desire speaks. Most couples try to resolve tension as quickly as possible. Conflict happens and both people rush to smooth it over, go quiet, change the subject, or apologize just to get back to neutral. And neutral feels safer. But neutral is also where desire slowly suffocates. Here's the part no one talks about. A certain amount of unresolved energy between two people is not a problem. It's electricity. The playful argument that doesn't fully get resolved. The moment you look at her like you're thinking something you're not saying. The time you disagree with her opinion, confidently and calmly, instead of immediately adjusting to hers. These moments create a kind of relational friction that her nervous system reads as something real is happening here. Not louder arguments, not manufactured conflict, not drama, but the quiet confidence of a man who has a perspective she can't always predict and doesn't always agree with. Her brain is saying, I don't fully have him figured out yet. Compare walking into a room and immediately trying to make her feel good, performing, accommodating, scanning for her approval, with walking into a room fully settled in yourself, greeting her warmly, but not reorganizing your entire energy around her reaction. One version makes her feel like the sun. The other makes her feel like she's standing next to it. When you stop trying to dissolve every tension and start sitting comfortably inside it, she stops seeing you as someone to manage and starts seeing you as someone to move toward. 4. She desires the man who sees her, not the man who needs her to be okay. Most men think that to win a woman's desire, they need to do things for her, plan things, provide things, solve things. And those aren't bad impulses. But what she actually longs for, at a level she may not be able to articulate, is to be truly seen. Not appreciated, not complimented. Seen. And this is where it gets really interesting, because most people have never experienced the difference. Being told, you look beautiful tonight, is nice. Being told, I noticed you went quiet when your friend said that thing at dinner. Are you okay? Is something else entirely. That second thing reaches past her surface and touches something she keeps protected. The deeper truth is that desire is built in the moments of accurate perception, when someone reflects you back to yourself in a way that makes you feel less alone in your own experience. Her inner voice isn't saying, he thinks I'm attractive. It's saying, he actually sees me. He's paying attention in a way no one else does. One version of you gives her a gift on her birthday because it's expected. Another version of you remembers that offhand thing she mentioned 3 weeks ago, a book she wanted, a place she'd been meaning to go, and brings it up not as a gesture, but because you were genuinely listening. The difference in how she receives those two moments is not small. When you make her feel seen in the specific, she stops needing you to do more and starts wanting you to be around more. And that's a completely different energy between two people. 5. Desire follows emotional leadership. Most men wait. They wait for her to initiate, to set the emotional tone of the relationship, to be the one who decides whether things are good or disconnected between you. And when she's not interested, they wait harder. They hope she'll come around. And that waiting, bro, reads as absence. Here's what nobody explains. Women are naturally attuned to the emotional climate of their relationships. They feel it constantly, like a weather system they're living inside. And when a man steps in and actively shapes that climate, not by controlling it, but by creating safety, warmth, direction, and lightness, something in her can finally relax. Her nervous system stops doing all the work, and desire lives in that relaxation. Emotional leadership isn't being the loudest person in the room. It's not dominance or control. This isn't a power move. This is what it looks like when someone has learned to love without losing themselves in the process. It looks like being the one who breaks the silence with warmth instead of waiting for her to. It looks like suggesting where you're going tonight instead of asking what she wants. It looks like setting a tone of ease and humor when things feel tense, rather than mirroring her withdrawal with your own. Two versions of the same evening. She comes home stressed and closed off. One version of you matches her energy, goes quiet, wonders what you did wrong, waits for her to open up. Another version of you makes her a drink, puts on music, says, "Come sit with me for 10 minutes. You don't have to talk," and just holds the space. Something in her is moving through her that sounds like I forgot what it feels like to be taken care of. When you lead emotionally without needing her to follow, she usually follows. 6. The way you leave matters as much as the way you show up. Most people in relationships think desire is built in the grand moments. The trip you planned, the thing you said when she was crying, the perfect date. And those things matter. But desire is actually built in the 30-second transitions, the way you leave in the morning, the energy you carry out the door, the last thing she feels from you before you're gone. When you leave distracted, absorbed in your phone, half present, that's the energy she carries with her. When you leave in a way that makes her feel like she was genuinely the last thing you were focused on, even for 10 seconds, her nervous system holds something different all day. She finds herself wondering when you'll be back. That wondering is desire. Not louder goodbyes, not longer ones. But 2 seconds of full presence, looking at her like you mean it. Not a kiss on the autopilot, but contact that registers before you walk out. Her brain quietly records, "He chose me at the end." Think about the last time someone left a room and you felt them leave. Think about the last time someone walked away and your eyes followed them. That's the effect of a man who moves through life with intention, even in the micro moments. When you start treating small exits and entrances like they matter, she starts feeling the weight of your presence in a way that makes absence feel like something she notices. 7. She desires the man who has somewhere to be. Most men who are trying to win a woman's interest make themselves completely available to her, canceling their own plans, restructuring their lives around her schedule, being endlessly ready whenever she might want something. And on the surface, that reads as devotion. But what it quietly signals to her nervous system is that you don't have a life she wants to be part of. You have a life waiting to be filled by her. And that's not attractive. That's pressure. Here's the deeper truth. Desire is directional. It flows toward things that are moving. When you have purpose, when you have friends, when you have something you're building that excites you, when you have somewhere to be, you become a man with a life worth orbiting. And she doesn't want to be the center of your world. She wants to be the person you want to share your world with. Those are not the same thing. What's moving through her when she sees a man genuinely absorb in something he loves, something that has nothing to do with her, is, "I want to be near that." It's the same reason we're drawn to people at parties who are deeply engaged in a conversation rather than scanning the room to see who's watching them. One version of you has cleared your entire weekend in case she might want to see you. Another version of you has your own plans, invites her warmly, and means it when you say you'd love for her to come, but you're going either way. One version makes her feel responsible for your happiness. The other makes her feel like being chosen. When you become a man with a life he's genuinely living, she stops feeling like she has to carry your world and starts wanting to be invited into it. This isn't a list of tricks. It isn't a strategy for manipulating someone into feeling something they wouldn't otherwise feel. What you've just been given is a map of how desire actually works in a woman's emotional world. And when you internalize this, you don't have to perform any of it. It becomes the natural expression of a man who knows who he is, what he's building, and how to be fully present with the people he chooses. She will feel the shift before you announce it. That's the part that matters. The relationship, or the connection you want, starts the moment you stop trying to earn desire and start becoming the kind of man who naturally inspires it.